Hi folks, good to be with you and love to everybody out there. I'm just making a quick video and this is for anybody who wants training in apologetics. A young gentleman got in contact with me from a video that they'd seen at Hyde Park and asked me to give some teaching training on apologetics. I did the seminar this morning and it was on presuppositional apologetics, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Excuse me. I've got to be quick because I haven't got a lot of time on my mobile phone here as I'm filming. Don't forget my website, jasonburnspreacher.com, and my Twitter. Just go on Twitter, just type in Jason Burns Twitter and you'll get my Twitter. And Facebook, you've got Bible teaching. Now, presuppositional apologetics was developed by a theologian called Cornelius Van Til. He was an expert in Hegelian philosophy. He was preeminent. He was at his prime in the 1940s and 50s and 60s. He was a Reformed theologian influenced by Herman Bavinck and Kuyper, Dutch Reformed theologians. And Van Til's presuppositional method is basically, imagine you've got a castle and you throw stones and you shoot the cannon at the wall. That's evidential apologetics. Evidential apologetics is giving evidences for the Christian faith, but it's like throwing stones at the wall of a castle or shooting at the castle walls. Presuppositional apologetics seeks to go under the castle and just collapse the castle from under the foundation. So presuppositional apologetics goes to the foundation of the person's source of authority. So for example, an atheist will look at the world from an atheist perspective. They'll have yellow glasses, a Muslim will have green glasses, and a Christian will have purple glasses. So no matter what evidence you put before these people, they will only see it through the reality of their glasses. So what presuppositionalism does is says, look, I'm giving you this evidence, but you're never going to appreciate it until we look at your glasses, take your glasses off, and deal with the glasses, the way you look at reality. So the Muslim looks at reality through the Quran. The atheist looks at reality, most of them, through scientific materialism. So what you do is you ask fundamental questions to do an internal critique of the atheist position, asking foundational questions, or the Islamic position. Rather than give evidences, you attack the foundation, you critique the foundation of your opponent. So for example, an atheist will come with you with his scientific materialism or her scientific materialism and say, science says the Bible's not true, and you can ask fundamental foundational questions like, what is truth? How do you know what objective morality is? Can you give an account for logic? The Muslim comes against you and says the Bible's changed, but you can turn it on them and start to critique the Quran and do an internal critique of the Quran and say there are contradictions within the Quran. The Quran has changed, so you're doing an internal critique of the Quran. So that's basically presuppositional apologetics. I use presuppositional apologetics and I use evidentialism. When Cornelius Van Til was using it and developed it, he used it as going for the foundation, but he let people ask questions and he would use evidentialism. If people were like students, he'd take them for a coffee and he'd actually answer questions like, can you give historical evidence for the Gospels, etc. But he used presuppositionalism as a basic way of just getting people to think and to undermine the critiques of Christianity. So I use evidentialism. I use evidences like the minimal fact, but I use presuppositional apologetics. There's various schools of thought in presuppositional apologetics. There's the Seitan-Brugengate purist apologetic presuppositionalism, where he says, how do you know reality is real? It could be your brain could be manipulated by an alien. So how do you know reality is real? And he would say we just stick to presuppositionalism, we don't use evidences, etc. There's Dustin Seegers, there's Doug Wilson, there's John Frame. There's many presuppositionalists out there who've developed this methodology. Jeff Durr